Summerhill.
Rosebery.
Clovelly.
Oh, yeah.
Liverpool.
Parramatta. Balgowlah.
Cronulla.
On ABC Radio Sydney, this is Breakfast with Robbie Buck and Wendy Harmer.
Currently 25 to 10 here on ABC Radio Sydney. Now, you heard Julie McCrossin in just a moment ago. She has just arrived this morning, well, with a very special guest, but also with a very futuristic-looking mask.
No, it's a hideous contraption.
Well,
that's what it is.
Wendy, you have a way with words, I understand. Could you describe what I'm holding in my hands?
Well, it is. It is like the see now I can't say anything.
It's a giant green plastic mask that has been moulded to my precise head to hold me tightly to a radiation therapy bench 6 years ago, and it saved my life, but it was an alarming experience.
Well, you see, I was going to say it looks like some kind of medieval torture mask.
Well, I was going to say it looks like something out of a science fiction film because it looks sort of futuristic, but it's just the very top of your shoulders as well as the full face, and it wraps right around your head, obviously. But what is really chilling about it is that there are bolts all around it.
And that's because you're clipped down, and the reason it's got the chest part is because I had cancer secondaries on my chest, so these masks vary. Could I say, even though we're going to talk with, I've brought a brainiac with me, Professor Paul Keall, who's going to do some science to get rid of this thing, but while I found this very traumatic, and about 50% of people who have to have radiation to the head and use a mask do find it a very, very anxious experience, it's really important that there will be literally scores of people across Sydney and New South Wales using one of these immobilisation masks today.
Yeah, okay.
And it's critical to say that not everybody finds it hard, and even if you do find it hard, as I did, I'm alive because of it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right. Is there any way that, I just want to ask you, that were you offered maybe a sedative?
Oh, Wendy, this is why I love you.
She's got one for you right now.
I unfortunately was not offered a sedative or music to listen to or a nurse to hold my hand until I'd had 4 of my 30 consecutive sessions with this mask. And one of the things I've been involved with is trying to advocate for better education for the head and neck cancer patient or the brain tumour patient who needs radiation to the head, so that we can be offered mild sedation, listen to music and so on. But Paul Keall, who's here, who's a brainiac, as I said, he has technology which he believes can eliminate the need for this physical restraint.
Okay, well, let's start first with how the mask, what the need for the mask has been first, Paul. Why, how does it work?
So, if we stay on the Star Wars theme,
that
radiation, if we think the lightsabers, and we've got very, very precise targeting of the cancer, and what we need to do is make sure that the radiation beam and the patient's health, the patient's tumours are targeted, and we're avoiding healthy tissue, and particularly for head and neck cancer patients, there's obviously the brain, the spinal cord that we don't want to hit. So we need to keep the patient as still as possible. What we're looking to do is really change the technology so that the technology adapts to the patient rather than forcing the patient to adapt to today's technology.
Okay, so this is essentially an immobiliser.
It's an immobiliser. I wish they'd call it a safety mask, because that's what it really is. It's safety equipment so that the radiation hit the tumours that were on the back of my tongue, my tonsils and the side of my throat, and they didn't hit my brain or my spinal cord. But what they've been doing up until now is just bolting us down in this really tight mask, which, as I say, for about 50% of the 5,000 to 6,000 patients who need to use this mask in Australia every year, it is a very tough experience.
Well, some people find a bit of, I know you brought your mask with you, some people find a use for their masks, and Steve from West Ryde has given us a call. Hi, Steve.
Yeah, good morning. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Tell us about your mum's mask.
Yep. Put over a pot, sustained with a couple of stakes, and she's grown ivy over it.
So there's an ivy in the shape of your mum's face somewhere in the backyard.
So she has a living memoriam of the success of the health intervention.
And how is she these days, Steve?
86 and tap dancing down George Street.
Steve, that's what I love to hear as someone who's had that cancer. Way.
Yeah, well done.
Her specialist still calls her his walking miracle.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much for that. But there you go. There is, you can use yours, Julie, have you ever thought of doing anything
look,
artistic with it?
Last week I was in Albury Wodonga with an Aboriginal woman called Leonie McIntosh, and we were at an all-Aboriginal art gallery, and she had made papier-mâché shapes on her mask and then decorated them with very high-level Aboriginal art. And it's currently on display at Albury Wodonga. You'd be amazed. I took a photo of me and Professor Paul Keall downstairs with the Doctor Who, what do you call it?
Cyborgs with the TARDIS.
With the TARDIS.
It looks like a bit like a cyborg mask.
Exactly. And I randomly grab an ABC worker. Turns out her mum had a brain tumour, now alive because she used the mask. So the mask is life-saving, but it's too difficult to wear for a lot of patients.
Tell us about this new technology then, Paul.
So what we're looking at doing, we've developed technology that really tracks the patient's internal anatomy and corrects the radiation beam for that. So we're really combining technology that we've helped for prostate cancer, liver cancer, lung cancer, and breast cancer, bringing 3 technologies together so that we can monitor the patient and not just the surface and also the internal organs of the patient and correct the radiation beam so that as the patient moves, the system just adapts to the patient to keep that targeting accuracy.
So I'm lying there flat on a bench with a great big bit of technology called a LINAC, a linear accelerator, rotating over my head. And instead of being clipped tightly down with a great big green freaky mask, I will lie very still and there will be a beam all over my face tracking any movement I make. And if I move even the tiniest bit, it can turn off the beam and keep me safe. Okay. So it's a way of keeping us safe without physical restraint.
You know why you're such a remarkable chick, Julie McCrossin? Why you are so great is that you have taken your experience here and you've turned it into something that, I didn't know about. You've let so many people in on your whole experience here. But what you're talking about here is you are advocating for patients who perhaps in the past might have not had a voice, even sometimes literally, to be able to say, I want more, because I'm sure as a patient you feel grateful and you don't want to ask for more, but you've done that, and that's what's so brilliant.
Look, thank you, Wendy, but it is critical actually, because in the past the vast majority of people who had to wear this mask for head and neck cancer were working class men who were very heavy drinkers or very heavy smokers.
That's right.
Now that number of people is dropping, which is fantastic because we're dropping both drinking and smoking, believe it or not. But what is rising is the human papillomavirus, which doesn't just cause cervical cancer, which we all know about, it causes cancer in the throat, the anus and the penis because it's sexually transmitted. And it's now at epidemic levels in the United States. More people are diagnosed with the cancer I had in my throat than cervical cancer caused by HPV right now in the United States.
Okay. Right.
So we need this new technology for thousands.
But that also says why people have been reluctant to speak up in the past, because they've felt that they have contributed to their own illness.
Look, I think people are embarrassed if they've because oral sex is the key to getting oropharyngeal cancer of the tongue and tonsil, and I'm able to talk openly about that. I don't think I'm the only person in Australia who's had oral sex, and so I can wear that name.
Oh, are there others, are there?
Yeah, there's one or two others here at the ABC, but
who are they?
Where are they?
I just want to speak up for smokers. I think it's really wrong. I haven't smoked since 1970. I actually haven't drunk alcohol since 1979. I got this through the human papillomavirus. But even if you get cancer because of smoking, my empathy is just as strong for the smoker.
Of course.
Well, you say that, Robbie, but you'd be amazed the number of people who just don't feel empathy for smokers.
And it is the first question that's asked. Oh, were you a smoker?
It's exactly right. They don't say, "Oh, did you have oral sex?"
No.
That's the new question.
I just want to ask the doc, how far are we away from this?
He's a professor, actually.
Oh, they all answer something.
He's a brainiac.
Yeah.
So what we'd like to do, I think in 3 years with dedicated effort, and we've started a crowdfunding campaign to really launch this. And so in 3 years, we look to do the first clinical trials. And all through this, we will be involving patients, including Julie and her network. We've had doctors, we've had psychologists, and really we've had such wonderful engagement with everyone we've talked to about this project.
Okay, well, we've got Donna from Mortlake on. Have we got time to talk to Donna?
Well, of course we do. Hello, Donna.
Hi. I just wanted to thank Julie, actually, for the work that she's doing in regards to the mask. I had an experience. My mum passed away 3 years ago from a grade 4 brain tumour, and through everything that we went during that happened to us during that process, including mum's surgery, chemotherapy, radiotherapy, everything, the day that I remember the most is the day we went into that room, and I wasn't aware of what was going to happen, and they fitted that mask to my little frail mother lying on that bed. It's a memory that's etched in my mind.
Yeah.
Thank you for
So if we could get rid of
telling us.
that mask, that would be a great thing. So thank you, Julie, for all the work you're doing to bring recognition to how traumatic that can be, not only to the person receiving the treatment, but to the rest of the family, to see someone on the table with that mask on their face. It's quite, confronting.
Thank you so much, because it is confronting. I'm trying to bring it out of the closet, and I've taken pictures of Paul, Keall and I with the TARDIS, and we might give you one for your Facebook page. But can I just say, Paul works with an amazingly skilled team at the University of Sydney, Image X Institute, and they've got runs on the board to do this. They've helped other cancer patients, and I'm confident this mask will be going, and it will be of international significance, and it will be done here in Sydney.
And Professor,
Thank you, Donna, by the way. Thanks for your
that.
call.
I've got a text here from Tony saying that my 7-year-old daughter had 20 sessions of radiotherapy for her brain tumour in 1994. No mask, just a piece of masking tape across her forehead. She didn't move a muscle, but a year later, she says her dad went through the same, but with the mask. So all developments gratefully appreciated. So we've come a long way with this from the masking tape days.
Oh, we have, and technology in cancer treatment is evolving very rapidly, including in radiation therapy, and we're getting much better at targeting. And this Remove the Mask project is just part of that evolution of just making cancer radiotherapy safer, reducing toxicity, and improving outcomes for patients.
And you've got an appeal underway, is that right?
Yes, we've got a crowdfunding campaign, and if it's okay, we might. It's tax deductible. It goes straight to the scientist. There's no middleman. Maybe we could put a link on your page at the University of Sydney.
You can do it. You just give us the link. Just give us what it is.
Well,
where do we Google?
If you search Remove the Mask crowdfunding, you will find us, and any donations most appreciated.
Yeah. Can I just have a quick look at it? I just want to...
Please, sir.
Because it's sort of made of fiberglass, and it's sort of a mesh style thing.
Put it on your bonds. Tell me what it feels like.
So Robbie is now putting it on. I'm going to take a photo so we can pop this up on the...
Oh, man, that is so creepy looking. I'm sorry, Julie, it is.
It is challenging, but can I just say, if you're on the way to a cancer centre right now and you're going to wear this mask, I just want to say I am alive and cancer-free 6 years later because I got some mild sedation, I listened to music, and a nurse held my hand while she clicked me in. Yeah. It's so critical that there will be people wearing this as we speak. We're just trying to make something that's less intrusive and less challenging.
Okay. Well, someone says here, David says, I tolerated the mask fine, but every time it went on, my nose got itchy.
Well, I remember saying, because you get sick when you have cancer treatment, as you probably know, I had chemo as well, and I said, it's an open weave a mesh. And I said, what will happen if I vomit? And they said, don't worry, it'll go through the cracks.
I was like,
depends what you've been eating,
Cancer's
of course.
Great.
Thank you to the both of you. Good luck with this in the future as well. It's just resonated, obviously, with lots of people, and... it's anything that's going to make that experience just a little bit better is going to make a huge difference. Julie, thank you.
Thank you.
Julie McCrossin, who's a cancer survivor and patient advocate, and also Professor Paul Keall, who's the director of ACRF Image X Institute at the University of Sydney.
Thank you very much.
Thanks very much, Paul. That was really great. 12 to 10 is the time.
Breakfast on ABC Radio Sydney.